Yesterday, millions of people were convinced they'd seen a video of Jessica Radcliffe, an orca trainer, dragged underwater during a live show. Screams, thrashing water, a killer whale turning on its handler. It spread like wildfire, but here's the truth. Jessica Radcliffe doesn't exist. The attack was AI generated. The name, the footage, even the supposed marine park, it was all fabricated. No trainer died, no audience witnessed it. And yet, the reaction was very real. Fear, outrage, and an avalanche of people asking, could this happen? The answer? Yes, and it already has. Today, we're diving into the real history of orcas attacking humans. The most famous incidents, the hidden dangers, the laws that now govern their training, and the unsettling truth about why the ocean's most intelligent predator sometimes turns on us. Let's go back to the 1990s. Long before Jessica, there was Tilikum, a 12,000-pound male orca who became infamous in the marine park world. In 1991, at SeaWorld of the Pacific in British Columbia, a young trainer named Kelty Byrne slipped into the water. Witnesses say she screamed, "I don't want to die," as Tilikum dragged her under. Eight years later, in 1999, a man named Daniel Dukes was found dead, naked, draped over Tilikum's back in his SeaWorld Orlando tank. Investigators believe he stayed after hours and entered the pool at night. No one knows exactly what happened, but his injuries were consistent with being pulled and held underwater. And then came February 24, 2010. Veteran trainer Dawn Brancheau was performing with Tilikum during the Dine with Shamu show. Without warning, he seized her, dragging her under and shaking her violently. Her death was ruled drowning and blunt force trauma. It was captured on surveillance, though never released to the public, but every trainer in the industry felt the shockwave. Tilikum wasn't the only orca with a deadly record. In 2009, Quito, a 14-year-old male at Loro Parque in Tenerife, killed his trainer, Alexis Martinez, during a rehearsal. At San Diego's SeaWorld in the 1970s-2000s, orcas like Kasatka, Orchid, and Nootka IV were involved in multiple non-fatal incidents, biting, dragging, or holding trainers underwater. And here's the chilling twist. In the wild, there's almost no record of orcas killing humans. Occasional bumps, bites, or boat damage, yes. But deliberate fatal attacks? They seem to be a captivity phenomenon. So how can the same animal be both feared as a killer and celebrated as one of the ocean's friendliest, smartest species? Orcas, or Sinus orca, are apex predators, but they're also problem solvers, communicators, and highly social creatures. They live in family pods that can last a lifetime. They have distinct dialects, hunting techniques, even cultural traditions passed down generations. Wild pods off Patagonia intentionally beach themselves to snatch seals from the shore, then wriggle back into the surf. Off Norway, they herd herring into tight bait balls before slapping them with their tails to stun them. In Antarctica, they coordinate waves to knock seals off ice floes. These aren't mindless predators. They're cooperative hunters with complex emotional lives. Researchers have documented them teaching, playing, even showing what appears to be empathy, nudging injured animals to the surface to breathe. Which makes the next part of this story so much harder to swallow. In captivity, those same traits, intelligence, social bonding, emotional awareness, can turn into the seeds of aggression. Let's talk about training. For decades, marine parks marketed orca performances as proof of trust and friendship between humans and killer whales. Trainers swam alongside them, surfed on their backs, kissed them for the cameras. What the public didn't see was the complex web of conditioning, rewards, and constant behavioral. When a trainer slides into the water with a 6-ton predator, their safety depends on two things: the whale's willingness to cooperate and the trainer's ability to read subtle cues, a flick of the tail, a change in breathing, a shift in posture. After Dawn Brancheau's death in 2010, the U.S. Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, investigated SeaWorld. The conclusion? In-water contact with orcas posed inherently hazardous risks that could never be completely eliminated. SeaWorld was fined, and new protocols were introduced, including banning trainers from swimming with the most dangerous whales, installing higher barriers, and implementing fast-rising pool floors. In California, the Orca Protection Act went further, banning orca breeding and theatrical shows entirely. Other countries, like Canada, have prohibited keeping orcas in captivity altogether. But worldwide, there's still no unified law, just a patchwork of regulations that vary from country to country. So why do orcas attack trainers at all? Here's what experts and former trainers say. Captivity stress is the biggest factor. In the wild, orcas travel up to 100 miles a day. In captivity, they circle tanks barely 100 feet across. They're separated from their pods, sometimes permanently. They lose the ability to forage, to hunt, to live by their instincts. Imagine locking a genius athlete in a bathroom for 30 years, forcing them to perform the same tricks daily, and punishing them, sometimes by food deprivation, when they misbehave. That mental pressure builds. Orcas are deeply hierarchical, and forced social groups in captivity can lead to fights, bullying, and injury. Trainers have documented rake marks, scratches from another whale's teeth on captives who have no way to escape a dominant tankmate. Mistaken identity also plays a role. An orca's grab might be intended as play, curiosity, or a control move in the water, but when the toy weighs 150 pounds instead of 300, and the whale weighs 12,000, play can kill. Some attacks seem unpredictable. An orca performing perfectly for years suddenly lashes out. But former trainers say there's always a trigger, often subtle, like a breach of routine, a misread signal, or an external stressor the audience never sees. And here's the unsettling reality. Many of these risks will never go away, because the traits that make orcas extraordinary also make them unpredictable in captivity. Their intelligence means they can get bored, frustrated, or rebellious. Their strength means any act of resistance can be lethal. That's why every major incident has sparked not just safety reforms, but deeper ethical debates. Should orcas be kept in captivity at all? Documentaries like Blackfish ignited a public reckoning, showing the psychological toll on both whales and trainers. Attendance at some marine parks dropped. Lawmakers introduced bills banning live performances. In the U.S., SeaWorld ended its breeding program in 2016 and pledged to phase out theatrical orca shows, though they still keep whales for educational displays. Globally, the trend is shifting. Countries like France, India, and the UK have taken steps toward banning cetacean captivity entirely. But in parts of Asia, the Middle East, and Eastern Europe, new marine parks are still being built. So, let's zoom out. The killer whale, one of the most intelligent, socially complex predators on Earth, has lived alongside humans for centuries without attacking us in the wild. In captivity, it has killed. Not because it's a monster, but because we put it in a box too small for its mind, too shallow for its soul, and expected it to smile for the crowd. The viral Jessica Radcliffe video might be fake, but the history of real trainers who lost their lives is not. Their stories are written in the OSHA reports, in the faded photographs, and in the scars, both human and cetacean, left behind. The next time you see a killer whale leap in a stadium pool, remember, you're not just watching a performance. You're watching a conversation between species, one built on trust, training, and the thin hope that neither side will break it. And the real question isn't whether orcas will attack again. It's whether we'll keep giving them the chance. If this opened your eyes, drop your thoughts in the comments. Should orca shows end? Should whales be released to sanctuaries? And don't forget to like and subscribe, because next time, we're diving into the ocean's other apex predator that's rewriting the rules of human-animal interaction.